Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know who it is, the Cat Natch, resident fly guy, your chief architect. Actually, this is Cat DeBray today. Michelangelo StarArchitects.com. Here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this lifestyle thing. And today we are going to be having a conversation about how to tie yourself to the right people. So we're going to continue our conversation on ties. This afternoon we'll be doing a quick this or that. You guys are getting some quick videos this week. But I wanted to talk about how to tie yourself to the right people, because last night I did a wonderful collaboration, Insta Live with my man, Jacob. And Jacob is a clothier. He's a public speaker. He is a brand ambassador. Handicap Visions, what's going on, sir? Thank you guys for giving me likes. If you guys want to check out that wonderful collaboration, I am going to just give you fair warning. It's about an hour and a half, but it's 2 Insta Lives. It was a great conversation last night. I was truly inspired and excited about where, this thing can go. We're thinking about doing this once a month. We just kind of get together and have these amazing conversations. So definitely make sure you check that out on the Instagram Live. But I wanted to kind of carry some of these things over here. If you guys have questions, again, though, this is a conversation, not a dissertation or a lecture, but I do got that sermon for you. So today we are going to talk about how to tie yourself to the right people. And this is something that I don't think we think about as adults, especially as we get older. We're just like, I am who I'm with who I'm with. And it's the young people who are looking for mentorship. It's the young people who are saying, I want to make sure that my group, my tribe is right, guys. Little technical difficulty. And we do that because our Master Yip, what's going on, sir? Thank you very much for joining. And we do that often because we end up being we end up hanging out with the people who are closest to us. So 95%, I'm lying. I think I look at a study, it's like 85% of people will genuinely hang out with people that they work with, that they have some sort of religious affiliation with, so the people that they go to church with, or people that they are they just in close proximity to. So your neighbors, your your people in your neighborhood are the people that you hang out with. Now, here's an interesting thing. That doesn't mean that they necessarily like them or that they have anything in common with those people. They're just so close that there is a comfort level there for them to deal with them. They are vitally and almost, some of them deathly afraid to explore outside of that comfort zone. We start talking about crime. We know that crime happens to people close to them because they feel comfortable. And so I wanted to talk about 3 elements of this, and we're going to talk about mentorship, friendship, and then collaboration. So the first part that I want to talk about with mentorship, and by the way, for anybody watching the replay, please give this a thumbs up. The thing that I want to talk about mentorship is, as we get older, I think a lot of us are thinking that we don't need mentors. We just need to be we need to mentor. And that's true. We do need to mentor more, especially as men. For all you guys who just hopped in, we had Handicap Vision, Master Yip, the other 3 people who I have the pleasure of speaking with. Please make sure that you let me know who you are, where you're from. Give me a thumbs up if you find the information beneficial. It's always appreciated. I think that we stop. Willie Mays, what's going on, family? Great to see you. I think that we're afraid to have mentors. Look, see, Master Yip, that's how it goes. 10 years, started hanging out with businessmen, and now you own 2 businesses. We're going to talk about that briefly when we start talking about collaboration, so that you're not just thinking collaboration for business. You start thinking to collaborate, to think different. But when it came to mentorship, okay, I didn't know you was in Denver. Dope. I got to get up to Denver one of these days. So when it came to mentorship, a lot of us we just don't know certain things. And we're afraid to ask for mentors because we're older. Like, you're in your 20s, your late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, or 40s. You'll say, man, I don't need a mentorship. And that's a big misconception. Some of you guys may be older and may need young mentors. Maybe your mentor is 20 and you're 40, but that mentor is teaching you about blockchain management, thank you guys. I realized I got to keep on telling you guys a shout out where you're from because I did not know where any of you guys from. So Handicap Vision, State College, Pennsylvania, dope. Thank you for letting me know that. But yeah, so you may need a younger mentor. That's the thing is like, I'm not too big to say, yo, you 22, but you're doing this extremely well. You started doing this. Yo, would you mentor me? And they'd be like, bro, you older than me. Yeah, but I'm old enough to know better. Like, yo, if I don't know something, ask for help. And we don't ask for help in those spaces. Or, you know, a guy like me who did not really grow up with, I didn't grow up with my father. Not really. I didn't grow up with my father. Like, I'm going to need mentorship in being a parent. And a lot of parents will say, well, you just figure it out as you go along. And that's true. But this little life, you know, that I potentially could be with, Columbia, South Carolina, what's going on? Been to Columbia. I used to go to Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina, so I wasn't too far from you guys. But in those spaces, what ends up happening is we say, oh, well, we'll just figure it out as parents. But no, I want to see if there's some things that like I can maneuver through, right? Like I can be like, oh no, you don't got to do that. You can go around that. Or you don't have to talk to him like this. Here's how, you know, I would recommend talking to him. And so we look for these mentors. We look for these guys. That's all a mentor is a mentor is going to help guide you to certain spaces. They're going to help you think about things in a very different, different space. Yo, that's awesome, Handicap Visions, that you are going back to a space that potentially could have been a negative situation and that you're making it a positive situation and hopefully inspiring some of those youth. I can guarantee you one of those people are going to take what you said, internalize it, and it's going to change their life. So kudos to you for stepping into that space and bridging the gap. But we need more of that. We need more people who understand their spaces. Like I tell a lot of guys, I'm not no hard dude. Like I grew up in the hood, very much so. Grew up in a quote unquote dangerous space, but my mom was very much involved and I had a strong family unit. So I don't know like a lot of the pitfalls and downfalls that can consume our youth. So I can only talk to a certain extent to them about those things, right? You know, I saw crack rock, but my mom wasn't doing crack, and that's no shade to anybody whose mom who is, but that's a different experience if you're actually seeing your mom do drugs or, you know, your dad was abusive. My dad was absent, but I had a great male role model with my uncle. There's still that gap there of me not having an identity from, you know, my DNA, but I still had a great role model. So there's certain things that I can speak to, and there's certain things that people who just have been through it, who have been warriors, soldiers on the front line of the streets, like that's a very important space to know because those are strong individuals. Those are fearless individuals. And if they can take that fearlessness from the streets to the business world, it's important. But if you don't understand these things, if you aren't privy to those things, then you'll never gain access to them. And that's why it is important to have mentorship. But if you are older, being mentored by a young person on technology, being mentored by a young person on social media can actually empower you to show you that you are not limited to the scope of your own awareness. You can then say like, oh, I can do this. That's all I have to do. Oh, it's just pressing that button. Oh, and then how do I make sure that like a lot of people see it? Oh, well, yeah, you just need to make sure that you're paying attention to the analytics. Analytics, what's that? Well, analytics is boom, 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 right? So they're guiding you on the newness, and you could be guiding them on game. Listen, young, like my OGs will be like, listen, young blood, listen, I know you think she popping, right? I know she got the fat ass, she got the nice breasts, she got the pretty face, but that energy, that girl crazy. Like you saw how she showed up. Boom, 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 boom. Is it worth the response that you're going to get in those spaces? I mean, I'm just gonna leave it to you there. Like, and again, they'll let us mess up and they come back and be like, young blood, listen, I ain't gonna say I told you so, but I told you so. I told you that girl's crazy. I told you. You know, she had all type of daddy issues. Right? So you're having a different conversation. So the second thing in this space is friendship. Now, as Willie was talking earlier, he said that, no, I'm sorry. Who said that they just have two businesses? It wasn't Willie. Master Yip. Master Yip was saying that he has two businesses, now two small businesses because he was hanging out with business people. Studies show that we are a reflection both financially and mentally of the 5 people that we hang around the most. And that's why we constantly hear that conversation of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get to a new room. Because a lot of us are so ego driven that we want to be the top person, that we forget that the smartest person has to educate everybody else. And that's not a bad thing, but then you're not being educated, then you're not being fed. But here's the little caveat right in that space. When you are the smartest person in the room, you may be the smartest person in one aspect. So if I'm generally speaking with people about style in an average room, I'm probably the smartest person when it comes to sartorial style and the psychology behind it. I'm probably going to know more than the average person in that field or in that space. But there may be somebody who's way smarter than me in elements of engineering or chemistry or psychology as a umbrella of math, any one of these different types of things. And not being the smartest person in the room allows you to be curious. It allows you to be ignorant so that you can be educated. And that's what a lot of people do not realize. So you'll go into a situation and you'll be like, oh, I'm not going to ask any questions because I don't want to feel stupid. And that's a perfect time for you to ask questions. That's a perfect time for you to put yourself around people who are much smarter than you, who are much well-versed in certain areas than you, so that you can become educated. And then it's also important to figure out who your friends are, especially as we get older, because we don't pay attention to these 3 things. Number one, our time is very limited. Like, the older that we get, the more we start to realize that mortality is not going to be infinite. It's very finite. So why would you want to waste your time with people who don't bring you joy, who don't build you up, who don't demand greatness from you, who don't acknowledge your strengths, who don't give you balance, who don't encourage you in hard times, right? Who aren't afraid to say, like, yo, I love you, and give you a hug, like, when things are hard. At this point, like, if you're dealing with people, you shouldn't be worried about their sexual orientation. If they are, a different sexual orientation for you, who cares? Like, they're not checking for you. They're not trying to get at you. Like, when are we going to get to this space where we start looking at the internal compass of somebody, not the social status, the socioeconomic status, or them just being the quote unquote cool kids? I said this to some people last night. We're so quick to still be in high school. It's sad. Like, we don't ever really leave high school. We click up, we hang out with people we probably don't like just because it's the cool thing to do, right? And we are willing to allow peer pressure. Now it's social peer pressure of us getting a house when we don't need a house, or us, driving a car when we don't need a car, to keep up with the proverbial Joneses, right? And it doesn't make any sense to me when I think about it. Now, I'm a victim of my own doing as well, right? I've done those things. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more it doesn't make sense. Far better for you to be a reflection of the 5 people that you're hanging around in those spaces emotionally, and saying, social media is everyday high school, very true, handicap isn't. But why not instead start choosing friends that are going to inspire you? This interesting thing happened this year. So I started going to this free-form drawing class. It happens every first Sunday here in Atlanta. And I haven't made any friends yet, but the energy is different. And I can be around other creatives, and I'm inspired when I'm in those spaces. If I go out, like tonight, I'll be out at this this virtual reality spot, and it's just some cool kids. And I realized, like, I'm one of the cool kids. Like, I'm not feature star, nobody's paying attention to me, nobody's worried about me, but I can be me, because the cool kids are always referred to as the creatives. Those are the kids who are the hipsters, kids who are skateboarders, kids who are artists, and like who want to do all these different types of things. And I can be in there being me, and nobody checking for me, and I can just chill, and I can take in the vibes. I can have a drink, I can watch and be like, oh man, that DJ's killing the music, versus being in the space where superficial people are, no shade to them, but superficial people are, and they are doing things for the gram. They're doing things literally in this augmented reality we're starting to live in, where people are doing this and not doing this, not being able to be present to what is actually going on. And that, to me, is is a interesting space to be in. I'm not gonna say it's dangerous, but it's a very interesting space for you to be in, because you'll see jokes where people be like, "Hey, oh, it's so lit here, so lit, so crazy, DJ's crazy, right?" And there's 5 people right behind them. But the way that they've strategically placed themselves, you would think it's super lit over there. And they'll be like, "Yo, now do it for my gram. Yo, now do it for my snap. Yo, now do it for my live." Like, right? And it's all a setup, and it's setting us up for believing that if we're not doing those things, we're somehow living less of a beautiful life. When in fact, once you figure out what you actually enjoy, when we were talking about figuring out those patterns yesterday, you start changing your environment. Like going to an art gallery is like 10 times better than going to the club for me. Going to the aquarium, we have the world's best aquarium here in Georgia, and I've been twice. And even then, I haven't done tours of the aquarium. Like I've done like parties at the aquarium. And so for me now, it's just like, nah, let me go to the aquarium as a member and experience like all of the different types of elements there. Because then I may make friends who are into those types of things. I've put out the energy that that's what I want to attract. And now, you know, I have a really close young lady friend who is probably going to end up being a really close confidant, just because we can talk, and she'll send me like encouraging videos of TED Talks, of interviews, things that are going to inspire and uplift me. My male friends, I got 4 or 5 male friends that I really just rock with. And it's because they either challenge me and force me to be better, or they're just good energy, and I know that they have a progressive mindset. But even those guys, I have to scale hanging out with, because I'm out here getting it, and because I need them to level up as well. And so even there, I'm trying to hang out with 5 people who are just that much more successful than me. I'm talking about millionaires, because even if I only get a piece of what they're talking about, then maybe I get to my first 6 figures. Then maybe I can be more influential and help more people around me. So the last conversation there is the collaboration. Issa Rae made a great statement when she said a lot of people are trying to collaborate up when they should be collaborating at the same side. So as we get off this call, I have to start getting ready, because I'm supposed to be meeting with a videographer that I'm going to start collaborating with. So hopefully the videos will start seeing some more cinematic things. And we're storylining and storyboarding some of the things today. And it was interesting because these collaborations are going to push me out of my comfort zone. I know that in my mind, I have this vision for what Style Speaks is supposed to look like. I wanted it to be a little bit more poetic and sonnets in style. I actually had a piece called Sonnets in Style, where you see how the collection and the curation of a wardrobe can create sonnets. They can create these stanzas and these rhythms, this harmony of both sound and flow and pitch and rhythm and all these other different types of things. And so I wanted to capture that cinematically. As I told you guys yesterday, I'm being more strategic about the information that I put up. So we're definitely going to have conversations about dating, about sex, about relationships as grown men, because I don't think that they really have those conversations. You know, what is it like to date after 30? It's different than when you're dating in your 20s. 20s, you're just like, oh my gosh, she had a fat ass, I just want to date her, right? She's dope. But in your 30s, you like, man, where's your head at? Great, you got a fat ass. That's awesome. But where's your head at? Do I want to just have a good time? Do you just want to have a good time? Like, we're much more honest, both men and women, in those spaces. The needs are different. Even sexually, the needs change, right? And so we wanted to have those conversations, but we wanted to have them in a very entertaining way. So I had to collaborate, because I don't know the film space. This young lady that I'm working with, amazing videographer, and she has a great vision. But when you're collaborating, you can't always be looking for money, for the cash, right? Because that paper don't mean anything. We know that, right? We all know that paper is just an idea. That money is nothing more than an idea that we all agree upon. So if that's the case, you're looking for different aspects of currency. You want currency. You want to be able to move in different situations and say, yo, I need that. What can I give in order to get that? So I needed a videographer. I'm like, yo, what can I help give you in order to get that content, creativity. I can help you on other projects. I can help you with editing. I can help you with all these different types of things so that I can be of benefit to you. Now, what happens if you do that over the course of 5 different people? So you're a great writer, or you're a great creative, and you meet somebody else who does video, and then we meet somebody else who does audio, and specifically in that space. And again, we may not work together for long. The young lady that I'm working with, I'm probably going to stay with for a while. I think she's just great energy. But in that process, you just take up as much information as you can, and you give as much information as you can in your expertise in your field. And then after that, you start being like, damn, oh man, I know how to do that. Oh yes, you just want to adjust those levels, on this thing over here. And they're like, oh, how you know that? It's a little something I learned. That's currency. That's the thing that can actually take you to the space. Currency is a current. It's a flow of energy that takes you to some other place. And so it's important for us to realize that collaboration is vitally important. I was listening to my homegirl. Her name is the Trap Witch. She's a witch. I mean, that's the easiest way to say that. But she's very much into witchcraft, if you'll call it that, from the Haitian element. It's actually folded in a lot with Christianity. I'm not defending her. She is who she is. But she was talking about 2018 being the year of, sorry, I'm back on my neck itch. She's talking about this being the year of collaboration. And I've heard that like 6 times from 6 different entities. But this is the year of collaboration. So this is the year that you actually need to be very mindful of the people that you're putting yourself around, people that you're dealing with, and the situations that you are choosing, the situations or settings that you're choosing to put yourself in on an ongoing basis. So be mindful of those things. I would challenge you this day to take some time, take out a piece of paper, and write out who your five friends are, who you would like to mentor you. And remember, mentorship does not have to be face-to-face, dude looking over your shoulder. Mentors can be virtual mentors. Some of my greatest virtual mentors have been Tom Bailu, have been Gary Vee. In the business sector, have been Jay Shetty, who I just learned about. And then on the YouTube circuit, listening to somebody like Roberto Blake, listening to Sonny Leonard Uzi have helped me develop my awareness of my YouTube presence and my YouTube space. So these people, I don't know, I've never met them, and I hope I do one day, but I still haven't. So until then, they continue to mentor me with their videos. And that's the great thing about technology, is that you all have the opportunity to learn from somebody, even if you can't be in the same spaces as them. So write down 5 mentors, 5 people that you would like to mentor you, and go big. Listen, I know you may be in your 30s, your 40s, 50s. Like, it doesn't matter. You're still never too old to be mentored. So think about some of the things that you want to learn, you want to develop, you want to cultivate, and start looking for mentors, and have 5 of them that you can just reach out to. Because I think that would be an interesting story, especially if you're older than them. Say, hey, I'm 30 and I know you're 22. But I really love what you're doing in this space, and I would love to be a mentor, a mentee, to you. I would love for you to mentor me. Is there anything that I can serve you in, right? That 22-year-old be like, what? You older than me, Pops? Yeah, and I still got a lot to learn. Like, think about the humility of that, right? If anything, I think that person would probably be willing to work with you off the strength that, like, damn, man, like, he's going to listen to me, right? I'm going to have something to say to him. Then you want to think about the 5 friends that you're hanging out with, and then just determine whether these are 3-week. Eric Thomas, again, great dude. I still listen to E.T. I can, I will, I must, like, at least once a day. I haven't actually this past week. I got to do better with that. But I can, I will, I must. It's super big for me. And The Lion and Gazelle, and then also another one where he talked about going to Dubai. Those are 3 things that I constantly just put into my headspace. The 5 friends that you hang out with, are these guys 3-week friends, 3-day friends, 3-hour friends, or 3-minute friends? Like, that's something we need to ask ourselves, especially as we get older. Am I hanging out with guys who really only deserve 3 minutes? And they only deserve 3 minutes because we don't ever talk about anything. There's nothing progressive that we're dealing with. We're only talking sports or something that's going to dull our mind, and we're not thinking outside of the box. Are they 3 hour friends where we can talk briefly about building business and things of that nature, but we can't share intimate spaces? I can't tell them or be vulnerable with them because they're gonna be like, man, if you don't get out of here with all that really foo-foo sissy type of stuff, right? In those spaces, or are they 3-day friends? Are they these guys that I can really sit down and have intimate conversations with? We can talk business, we can talk the lightheartedness of life, but we can also talk about the depths and the intimacies that we need to share as men. What you're afraid of, why you're afraid of it, talking about your childhood, talking about some of the things that actually impacted how you move, how you see yourself, talking about your kids, talking about your marriage, and being around spaces and with guys, men who are willing to uplift you, encourage you, push you in manners that provoke thought, that provoke progression and make you better. Or these 3 week friends. These are people that you end up traveling with because they cover all those things from the 3-day friends, but then they also incite exploration. These are the people who help give you access to different types of experiences because each one of you guys brings something different to the table. Maybe one guy is a planner, the next guy is all about the experience, and so he's going to make sure that that is curated in a certain way, and the other guy is the organizer. Sorry about that, guys. Making sure that everything is in the proper space. Now, if you think about that teamwork, y'all gonna have a good time. Y'all gonna have a good time, right? And are you collaborating? So I want you to think about 4 or 5 ways that you can collaborate with somebody else. Like, this is a huge thing, especially in the young community and also with men of color. We are afraid to collaborate with somebody. We're afraid that somebody's going to steal our idea, or that somebody's going to try to get over on us, or that somebody is going to take advantage of us, right? And those are all false evidence appearing real. Those things do not exist. If somebody takes your idea, they're not going to execute it the same way that you do. And they're probably lazy if they're willing to steal it. Not all. You may have some Steve Jobs and some Bill Gates out there, but for the most part, most people are lazy, and they're not going to do the necessary research or work in order to do whatever it is that you're doing. But here's the interesting thing: the universe is just as greedy. The universe says, yo, I need what you have. So if you're not going to put this out, I'm going to give this to the masses, to masses of energy, and it's going to pop into somebody else's mind, and they're going to be like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta write this, and then I gotta do this, and then I gotta do this, and they're gonna start putting out content. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna see it on YouTube or on Facebook, on the gram, on the news, and you'll be like, man, I had that idea, but you didn't do anything with it. And so now it's important for you to start doing it yourself, number one, but also finding like-minded individuals that you can build with. That's all collaboration is. Collaboration is building. It's building blocks. It's connecting this over here with this over there, connecting it, and then building upon it. And so find 4 or 5 people or nonprofit organizations or for-profit organizations that you can build with, and start reaching out to them. Ask them how you can be of service and how you can help. And so this wasn't a style conversation today, but it very much was about you tying in your life with your friends and the people around you and the settings as you create these stories. So I want you to try those things on. I really want you to try to do those things. And leave me some comments in the comment box letting me know what you chose, if you are so inclined. If not, make sure that you share it with somebody else, so that you can write it down. Number one, that means that you have created something that you can look to and you can commit yourself to. But the sharing is a very important aspect of what you're doing, because the sharing actually holds you accountable. Handicap Visions, thank you very much. So outside of that, it's Thursday. It's cold as balls here, and it's still snowing in New York. What did you New Yorkers do? What did the New Yorkers do? Because it's still cold here. It is now the end of March. It is supposed to be warming up. I thought I was, going to be happy with cold days. I throw on my coats and all that other stuff. I'm over that ish. Like, I'm over it. So New Yorkers, get your life. You know what I'm saying? All my Northeasterners, get your life. Like, I need you to will the warmth. Will the warmth, all right? Because we're over this. In any case, We have made it to Thursday, another week, and I'm so thankful for you guys. Again, you guys provide so much insight and energy. I'm just thankful, and I want to make sure that I always tell you how thankful I am. Outside of that, yo, be great today. Then again, you guys know that you are. So now all you have to do is show up and show out in style. And remember that dress is nothing more than the outward expression of a man's state of mind. So you should always dress to express. Master Yip, Handicap Visions, Willie, peace. And to all my other folks who are watching this on the replay, much love to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.